When we look at those questions, they give us a good idea of how our body's functioning and how our habits are. They are all a reflection of the things that we're doing and how they're affecting our body. If you have more than 3 yeses, we go back and start. Where do I start? What is that question? To rebuild your foundations of health.
Hey everyone, Derrick Hines here. Welcome to the podcast where I'll share with you the patterns, insights, research, and technologies that we use in my own pain and performance practice to help people improve their health, speed their healing, and increase their longevity. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoy it.
Good day, my friends. Welcome to the Pain and Performance Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Derrick Hines. I'm the founder of Pain and Performance Rehab and Hero Health, where we integrate the latest technology, the most up-to-date research with the best treatments that we can to give our patients outsized returns in healing and health. And during that conversation, I often get the question, where do I start? What is my first step? What do I need to do? How do I start to heal or start getting healthier? And I think that question has given so many people fits from doctors and patients. And we ask a few questions when someone brings that up. So there's 6 to be precise. And these questions are not a test. They're just kind of a reflection. And every time we answer yes to one of these questions, it kind of shows us where your body needs support, and it gives us a starting point. So the first question is, do you experience daily pain at or above a 3 out of 10? And this gives us some information about how well your body's functioning and healing. Do you average less than 7 hours of sleep per night? Is your body fat above a healthy range? 25% for men, 30% for women. Do you average fewer than 7,500 steps per day? Are we getting daily movement, right? Do you regularly fall short of proper hydration, roughly half your body weight in ounces? And does your diet regularly include processed or packaged foods in more than 2 of your meals per day? When we look at those questions, they give us a good idea of how our body's functioning and how our habits are. They are all a reflection of the things that we're doing and how they're affecting our body. So if you have more than 3 yeses, we go back and start. Where do I start? What is that question? To rebuild your foundations of health. And those might be different for everybody. My foundations for health are sleep, movement, nutrition, sunlight, stress regulation. And when we look at those things, we need to go back in. If we have more than 3 yeses on this questionnaire, we need to start rebuilding our sleep. Our body is not functioning as well as it should. We need to improve our movement. So we need to start trying to find ways to get little bits of movement throughout the day. If you are not moving more than 7,500 steps a day, to really say that you have healthy foundations is not possible. Our body is designed to move all of our hormones, our muscles, our joints, our brain. Everything functions better when we're moving well and we're moving a lot. And so if we're not doing that, we need to figure out ways to increase movement and activity throughout our day. If our nutrition is not where it needs to be, we're not fueling the body with healthy fuel, it's not going to run well. It's going to start to accumulate stress. It's going to start to accumulate damage, certainly start to accumulate weight. And a lot of times the first thing we look at is quality. What type of quality or fuel are you putting in? Is it a bunch of processed and packaged stuff? Are you eating out for one of your meals, and then are you doing a packaged meal, processed foods as your breakfast or your dinner, and it's like 2 or more of your meals are not quality? If the answer is yes to that, we need to rebuild a healthy foundation of nutrition. Hydration is one that people forget, but our body has to be well hydrated for everything to function, our brain, our cells, our nerves. So if you're not getting proper hydration, again, this is one of those foundational health habits that creates this healthy foundation. So based on that, we can tell someone, hey, you need to go back and focus on rebuilding healthy foundations in your life. And you need to start making some things around your day that help you sleep, that give you movement, that improve your nutrition, that help you with stress regulation and sunlight. How do you get out and start to change your metabolism even? If the answers are mostly no, like, nope, I don't have pain. I don't get less than 7 hours on average. No, my body fat is not above 25%. No, I'm getting more than 7,500 steps. I'm moving a lot. Then very commonly what I would tell people is to start it with functional health. And when we go back and look at functional health, this is how do the systems in my body function? So that's like, how does your cellular system work? How is your nutrition? How's your cardiovascular system, inflammatory and immune system? What's your metabolic health look like? And this is where very commonly things start to get more targeted. This is where we're starting to look more at each individual person. I think that gets really heavy at level 3 where we're trying to build resilience in our body. But functional health starts to become something that we are doing based on testing in a lot of cases. And if somebody is saying, I'm going to start at functional health, we often want to know what's inside. Do you have the basic building blocks of health? Do we know what your hormones are, your micronutrient balance? Do we know if you have inflammation in the body? Do we know if you have imbalances, like, functional imbalances in your musculoskeletal system? So then it starts to get more targeted towards you. But I think just about every human being out there, when we look at the foundational health habits, can identify a few areas that they need to start with to improve and find those low-hanging fruits. So we give this out and have like little tiered objectives or benchmarks under each level of health so that people know like what to focus on at what time. If we're in foundations, I'll run through these real quick. This goes into a long thing, but I think it'll help you to know, have I earned the right to focus on functional health or not? So in foundational health habits, are we sleeping more than 7 hours? Is my hydration optimal? So am I consuming at least half my body weight? Is my daily movement adequate? 7,500 steps per day. It seems to be like the big jump in that. Am I getting sunlight exposure of at least 30 minutes per day? Is most of my nutrition whole foods, whole minimally processed foods? Am I getting enough protein? Minimally 0.5 grams per pound of lean body weight. The real studies say we should be at 0.75, but in terms of like foundational health habits, am I getting at least a half a gram per pound of lean body weight? Have I minimized sugars, fast food, seed oils, and alcohol? Do I have consistent stress management? Do I stress more than I should? In things that don't matter that much. This isn't like the big things. Of course, that makes sense, but it's more like, something goes wrong. Does it kind of spiral me out? That probably means something that is missing in my foundational health habits. Have I minimized damage in my life? This is like quitting smoking, limiting alcohol and things like energy drinks, fast food, meals, damaging environments. Have I cleared out the low-hanging fruit that causes damage in my life? And based on those, we can go through and say, like, what do I need to start with today to start getting healthier? If I go through this stuff and I'm like, I'm doing some of these things, but I still smoke and I still have some stress things. All right, we know before you start worrying too much about supplements or like individualized diet plans, you're stepping over these big things that you need to change so that you can go and get like the small percentage points. No, like get smoking or vaping out of your life, limit your alcohol, and then let's start to move up the chain. So we're out of foundation and we're in function, and now you can do it. But I see a lot of people who try and skip to that step, and they're still doing major health or anti-health habits, if you will, that they haven't corrected yet. So this gives us a way. Obviously, this kind of continues to go deeper and deeper, but it gives us a way to tell people when they ask, hey, where do I start? It gives us a really good idea of what you need to do to get going. And the way that we want people to think about it, if I want to give you a takeaway, is like, do I have healthy foundations? Do I have all the foundations that create health? If my answer is yes, then I can start to focus on function of all the systems in my body. Until I've improved the function of all the systems that I can in my body, then I don't need to start worrying about being resilient and staying healthy. And if I'm not resilient and staying healthy and optimizing my health, then I don't need to worry about longevity. We've talked about the hierarchy of health on here, but this is how this gets used in practice and used in all of our daily lives. So I hope that helps. I hope that gives you some priorities. What I want to know from you is like, what things jump out whenever we say those things? Where do you hear your starting point? Hit me up. I'm on Instagram, probably more answering questions on there, and Facebook. Instagram is Derrick B. Hines. If you look for me on there, you'll find a bunch of the content. But I'd like to know what jumps out to you on this. Where do you feel like you need to start? And what are you going to do? What's the action step? Knowledge is not power. Knowledge that informs action is power. So do one thing to get a little bit healthier today, everybody. Have a good day.